Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I have 11 o'clock, so it's time to call the meeting to order. This is the Independence City Commission special meeting this morning. We are here to consider the following item: approving the submission of COVID-19 related grant opportunities in which the city's match does not exceed $5,000 per grant. I would like to mention that Mayor Kaflish is in attendance by telephone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kelly, would you like to present this item to us?
Yes, I would, Vice Mayor. In your packet that was also included online, we are getting an opportunity for various grants that are coming up with this COVID-19 emergency. Several of those are very time sensitive. We do not want to lose out on the opportunity to apply for any grant funding. So our finance director put together this RCA for you that would authorize the submission of COVID-19 related grants by city staff on behalf of the City of Independence through December 31st, as long as the following criteria are met. The city's required match does not exceed $5,000 per grant submission, and city staff will maintain a log of grants applied for and report approval denial of the grant to the commission at the next regular commission meeting. And if you have any questions or anything specific, Lacey and I are both here to respond.
Very good. Commissioners?
Yes, I have, Lacey, I have a question for you. The grants are, would you explain what the grants are available for what projects?
Well, new grants become available almost on a daily basis. The specific one that prompted this item was a Cdbg grant, a community development block grant, that is supposed to be coming live any day this week for online applications. And I've been told that it's likely that the funds will be distributed very quickly afterwards, and that they'll likely be out of funding within 24 to 48 hours after it opens. And that particular one has 3 different sections. There's an economic development section that provides, I believe it's for the micro loans or micro grants. They are not loans. The micro grants are for businesses with 1 to 5 employees, and it's $2,500 per employee. They do, since these are Cdbg grant monies, they do have to meet LMI or low moderate income thresholds. So that would be those jobs, those eligible jobs would have to meet the LMI thresholds for household income. So it does make it a little bit more difficult to qualify for, but still something that I believe we should go after. It has a second subsection in that economic development portion for larger companies with, I believe it's 6 to 50 employees, and the grant goes up to $3,500 per LMI eligible job there. The next section is for food bank support, so meal funding within our community. And then the third section is for PPE and supply materials and things like that related to COVID response. And all of these are the city would apply, and then we would be responsible for dispersing the grant monies to appropriate entities within our community. So it's not funding specifically for the municipality, but for organizations within our city.
Lacey, on that number 6 to 50 employees, what was the dollar amount?
$3,500.
$3,500. Thank you.
And that's an up to amount. I mean, you could when we would disperse these funds, we could make it any increment in between that, but that is the maximum amount.
Okay.
I see.
And have they indicated what the size of this grant would be? I mean, as far as when they release it?
The total dollar pool, I believe, is 9 million.
Okay. I believe they did a $5 million for small business earlier a few weeks ago, and that money went out like within 48 hours. It was
They go
it went
fast.
pretty quick. They
Yep.
go pretty quick. So if you snooze, you lose.
Yep.
Okay. So will you get some type of notification as far as when that time window is open for you to apply?
I have 2 different agencies that are supposed to email me as soon as it becomes available, and I'm also checking, so I should know.
Okay. And once this is approved, you actually have all your documentation ready. You just basically,
I have
Submit
been
the-
gathering it over the last week or so. There's still a few loose ends to tie up, but I believe I'm pretty much ready to go.
okay.
This, does this particular grant we're talking about, the CDBG grant, require a city match?
Nope, it does not.
Are you looking at specific grants that do require a city match?
I have not come across any. I know that the fire EMS department has some very engaged staff that are looking for grant opportunities as well. And I don't know the specifics on those, but I believe some of them that they have found require a small match.
The value $5,000 seems familiar to me. Did you choose $5,000 because we already have some kind of documentation in place supporting that much flexibility within these types of decisions?
I could make an argument for $5,000 or up to $25,000. I mean, our procurement policy basically gives leeway to the staff within professional services of up to $5,000, and then routine operating expenses are up to $25,000 before we have to bring it to commission approval. So I can make an argument for anywhere in that scale.
I see. I think I was thinking about the procurement policy when I noticed that similarity. This grant does require a certain amount of administration if it were to be granted.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be the person who would be administering the grant monies?
Yes. I'm sure if we wanted, we could talk with Tricia Purden at MAC to see if she would be willing to help administer these programs, because she does have a lot of experience doing this with, the county has their micro loan grant that she administers for them. So I know she's very, very familiar with the requirements and the tracking purposes of these types of grants.
If it were to overload you, I would hope that you would reach out like that. Mayor Kiflish, would you like to ask any questions at this time?
Yes. Are the grants to be used to fund city projects related to the COVID-19 or reimbursements, or does the money go to the city and then we disperse it to businesses or entities outside the city structure?
These funds, this specific grant, the CDBG grant, is for outside organizations. It is not direct benefit of the municipality.
Okay, so then they're going to be required to complete some documentation to report back to the granting agency,
Yes.
that you would be responsible for monitoring or overseeing before it goes on to them?
Correct.
Okay. So that would be something with enforcement and all would be done in-house by our existing staff, correct?
I don't think there would be much enforcement or anything. They would qualify for it up front, typically.
Okay, but then after the money is granted to them, then they have to, I guess.
It's not a
enforcement
loan.
Is a wrong word. You just have to monitor their reporting back or their compliance documents to show that they use the money as prescribed.
Correct, as intended. So if we were to say it's for payroll or some sort of operating cost, they would just need to report back to us what the funds were used for.
Okay. So I guess, are most of the grants that you're looking at that type that it wouldn't cover expenses by the city, but it would be grants that would aid the community?
This particular one, yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen a lot that the city would qualify for. You know, through the CARES Act, there were funds for municipalities, but they were for populations greater than 500,000. So I haven't seen any come through yet that we would qualify for.
So then how do you select the businesses? I guess there would be an application. If you got notice of receiving X number of dollars, then you would put that out for public information, and there would be an application period that you would then have to evaluate the requests.
Yes. And we would be responsible for putting out parameters or guidelines of that application. These funds would already be fairly difficult to qualify for just because of the LMI requirements. I mean, I think household income is roughly around $30,000 or $35,000. So these would be jobs where their household income, not just that job, but the household income meets that level.
Okay. Okay, I don't have any other questions at this time.
Lacey, I have another question. On the food bank support, meal funding, and then you also added PPE and supplies related to COVID-19. What are the dollar amount parameters set up for that?
I believe that the food assistance portion, they just released on Friday that is up to $100,000. Earlier information that I had maximum distribution to a city or county would be $500,000, and I believe it was broken up $300,000 to the economic development portion, and then $100,000 to the other two categories. But I haven't confirmed that is still the final breakout. Last I heard, it hadn't been released officially.
Okay, so make sure I understood that right. So you're talking about a $500,000 grant altogether, with $300,000 for part one, and then $100,000 for part two and part three, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the only requirement we would have as a city would be a $5,000 commitment.
The city has no
Or
commitment.
not the commitment, but I mean.
This particular one has no match. So all the city would have to do is administer the programs.
Oh, okay.
That was just put in there in case something comes along and there is some type of match required, that we have that authority to go ahead and apply for it, as long as it doesn't commit the city to over $5,000.
Okay,
It's kind of just a catch-all for future stuff, because we don't know what's coming down the pike.
sure, understand. Okay, so basically, we're applying for a $500,000, and we really don't have any skin in the game other than just administrative
Yep.
And making sure that they qualify and that the funds are dispersed accordingly, and then they comply with the guidelines that were set up, that it goes and being used for what it is intended to
Correct.
per their application.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you, Lacey. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
Kelly?
We have been working with Susan Gilmore, who's a certified CDBG grant administrator, and she has helped us with these things. So Lacey has a really good resource with her. She's helped us on several grants in the past, so it's very helpful.
And where's she out of?
Their office is in Chanute. She's with the Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission, and they have administered our CDBG grants in the past, like for the sidewalks and different things, sanitary sewer improvements, and she is a great resource for us.
She has been excellent in answering my numerous questions.
Well, that's good to know. A good resource like that is sometimes quite hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No, that's all I have, Vice Mayor.
No, barring any other questions, I think we may be ready for a motion. Are there any other questions by anyone else? Is anyone on the telephone that would like to ask a question, or do we have any people who would like to speak this morning? No. Very good.
We're all good? Leonard, you good?
I don't have any further questions.
Okay.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we consider approving the submission of COVID-19 related grant opportunities in which the city match does not exceed $5,000 per grant. And this particular one does not involve a $5,000 commitment from the city.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll
second?
I'll second the motion, Commissioner Kaplish.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. That is the scope of our special meeting this morning. Is there any further discussion? In that case, I move that the meeting be adjourned.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.